Welcome everybody to the Chess Lab, welcome to episode 9 of Road to 2500 Lichess Rapid. Let's go, let's jump straight into the game. I have my water with me, obviously. Now lately, let me fix the webcam a little bit. Not like this, like this. Like this. Okay. So lately, this computer have had some issues, and it seems like they can't quite resist recording for like more than 25-30 minutes really. So we are playing against a 2298, very important opponent. Let's go with c5. So hopefully at least the game gets recorded. If the analysis doesn't get recorded, whatever, I just cut it, but hopefully the game gets recorded. So here we are following Nate Solon's course, the Nimzovich Sicilian. You can see it here, right? This is the first on the top, okay? And I can see my recording software having issues here. I can see myself lagging a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Okay, my opponent pushes. Let's try to play faster. I know the move here, knight d5. Very standard. Knight to c3. So what was the move on knight to c3? Do I take it? Or do I move back? I really don't remember. Or do I play e6? I really don't remember. What's the idea of knight c3? Oh, wow. I really don't remember it. If I take... No, if I take, I think that they open up with the queen and they have the bishops out. So I remember that this was wrong. However, I don't remember what the suggestion is at this point. Maybe just dropping back to c7, but this just allows them to develop naturally. Even though they don't have the knight to support it, I don't remember if it's e6 or knight back. If I play e6, if I play knight back, maybe a move was to go here. And maybe after this to go back. There were some crazy lines, dude. I'm gonna go with this. Let's see what happens. If it's wrong, it's wrong. We'll figure it out. He takes, and he takes like with conviction too. And now he strikes. And now he strikes. Here there are some lines where I just sacrifice the pawn. Knight c6 takes here. He takes. I push here. And they take. And then I go here, and then they go here. I think that's the line. I think that's the main line. I could be mistaken, and if I'm mixing up my lines, I'm just lost. And that would be trouble, obviously. But hopefully I'm not messing it up. Even though I may be. Okay, my computer calmed down. I've heard like the ventilation going down. And in fact, I can see myself in a little bit of delay. When I look up, I have my recording software open. I can see myself in delay, which is normal, but I see myself fluid. Like when I move my hand is fluid, which is good. But it lagged a little bit before. Okay, let me actually try to... Yeah, I can't do that. If I move it... Okay, it's not tragic. My opponent is thinking. We are playing against a very strong opponent. 2298, so far the strongest opponent we face. He plays c3, which I don't think it's critical. But it shouldn't be underestimated. Because now it's a question of how to develop, right? How do I develop here? I could try to play d6, obviously. Trying to really attack this center. And I don't see why I shouldn't. If they take, I think I'm gonna take with a queen, perhaps. Then they take, I have an isolated pawn. Okay, maybe I can take, they take, and I attack their center. Or maybe I check first, and then I attack their center. I think that just makes a lot of sense. What's wrong with that? Well, there are some reasons why this could be bad. But again, I have this crucial check, right? So check, bishop d2, take d6, take. I cannot see what the problem is with this. Of course, these players are very, very tricky, obviously. So you have to always be very, very careful. On the other hand, I don't really see the issue as the time being. I could play queen a5, threatening to take, and if they take with the knight, this falls. But I don't have d6 then, which annoys me. So I'll rather take queen here, d6, long castle, short castle, and I should be fine. I should be completely fine here. I think black managed to equalize here, unless, of course, I'm missing something ludicrous. Because after d6 and bishop to b5, I just plan to castle. And that's my idea, because if they take, I'm in a fantastic position. Of course, they have the possibility to take, but then I may just castle, ignoring their attempts to create trouble for me. Even though, yeah, no, because how do they defend the pawn? They can play this, but then I have a check, I have rook e8. It kind of reminds me of, yeah, they do this. Of course, taking here, it's a little bit nasty, because after they go here, this knight is in dangers. But here I was just planning to just castle, and I really couldn't see the issue with that. If they play rook c1, I'm just gonna ignore them and just do this, I think. Okay. But now... Okay, this is a very, very, very interesting middle game, obviously. So if I take, what are they gonna do? They are gonna take like this, perhaps. Then I take here. And if they capture here, this is a fork, which I don't think they can avoid losing this bishop. Okay, but probably after this, they're gonna interpose this. I'm gonna take. They take like this. And then I feel like I'm gonna play c5 here. And if they take rook to e8, and it's very difficult to defend this knight, because that's defended by my queen now. So I think I'm just gonna do it. Their king is in the center, and this is critical. If their king was already castled, I think that after bishop here, pawn here, and knight here, I would be worst. But as it is, I think that the chances are slightly in my favor, I think. Okay, they actually take with the pawn. That's quite a surprising move. A very surprising move. So if I play knight here and queen here, if they defend like this, I have a check and that's a fork. Oh no, they can't. They are defending with the queen. Okay, ignore what I just said. I could play a6 and force them to kind of simplify this position. I could try to attack this bishop, then they take here, it's complicated. I could play something like queen to e7, which of course puts pressure on this pawn, and after I take, they don't have time to pin me because I take with check. After this move, they can take like here, but this is of course unbelievably dangerous. First of all, I can check here, and they can't defend with the queen because I win the bishop. I think I'm gonna go with this move. It's of course very risky, and it lives upon here, but I think that after that we just have massive activity. I think they're not in time to play dirty here. And when I say play dirty, I mean winning my pawn for free. I don't think that's something that they can do. And in fact, they take here. Now I can of course capture. They are gonna capture, I'm gonna capture, they're gonna capture. And then what am I gonna do? Then is not so easy because I have struggles developing, do I? I think I do. I can just play bishop here. perhaps. They can't jump in because I just take them. And I have a passed pawn, actually. This is a passed pawn. I shouldn't forget that. So let's actually try to... Of course, there are issues like they can take and then go here. But in that case, I just go here. Then they go here. But then I move here. No, this doesn't attack. Oh, yeah, this attacks them. They can go here, though. Very tricky position. Very tricky position. Getting rid of this knight would be ideal. So maybe taking is best. Take here. How can I untangle? Because they're about to bring a rook here. It's not super easy. I could play a6. Where are they gonna go? Because I'm just gonna move up. Yeah, I can just move up. I'm gonna go for this move. It's not so super easy here, obviously, but I have to try to do something. Do I have tricks here? I don't think so. It's important, in my opinion, their knight could potentially be much better, and so I really had to do that. a6. This doesn't work because I take it with the rook, not with the pawn, because this would hang the rook. Obviously. After the bishop moves again, I can't really play... Okay, they do this. Interesting. Very interesting. I could play b5 now. They take here, I go here. I mean, that's very, tricky. I could play this now, or perhaps I can play this. Because I want to do this, but then they're gonna pin me, and I don't know how to untangle here. That's a little bit annoying. They're making it difficult for myself to kind of develop my pieces. Which, I mean, it makes sense, that's what they should do. I could try to go here and then go here to trade queens, which is actually quite a decent idea. Let me actually try to elaborate a plan here. Of course, I'm expecting them to move the rook here, but after this, perhaps I'm fine. Perhaps I'm not, but perhaps I'm fine. Ooh, this move I completely missed, which is unfortunate, obviously. I completely missed this. Okay. But now I can play a5 and try to develop this way. Yeah, let me try to do that. They can't really win a pawn, because in the end, everything kind of falls apart. But still. It's still objectively equal, like I can feel that, it's just difficult for me to play. This shouldn't work, even though, of course, I have to be careful about that. Very careful about that. But okay, if I manage to get a couple of moves in, I should consolidate, which, of course, is my goal to consolidate here. And then if I can get this rook up, of course, I'm completely fine. But of course, he's gonna go here after this. What do I do? He goes like this, okay. So I want to go here simply because I want to prevent this infiltration. If I go here and he goes here, after I take here, yeah, I can definitely take, so that's not good. I can try to go here. I think it's important for me to keep those squares together. I think. I'm hitting this pawn, but not really, because, I mean... But he defends it, which is surprising. Now he gives me this option to simply move my rook like this. Can I move here? He takes. I go here. Where does he moves? I don't know. Let me play a4 first. I think that's not catastrophical. I think this is still in the realm of savable, if that makes sense. if that makes sense. I could have also tried rook b8, but it feels so passive. It feels so passive, doesn't it? Maybe taking is their best shot, but I'm not super sure. Because I'm gonna take... Ooh, yes, they do. But I feel like my pieces are getting too centralized. Yeah, they can get a pawn, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal for me if they get a pawn. I have to be careful about these, of course. Yeah. But now I think it's a good time to go for this idea. To finally sacrifice this pawn, because I'm gonna take this one here. And I have enough counterplay. The queen can just get out of the way, like to e4 and go back somewhere. And I think that now that they did this, I have enough counterplay. Okay, they do this move, but this, of course, relinquishes some control. Now I can go here, perhaps, which looks weird, but I have to start playing some moves, and I don't really know what to play, so this doesn't really change much the situation, really. Because now I'm going here, and they may want to be careful just a little bit. If they take now, I may want to consider actually taking with the pawn, which looks impossible all the time, but it may not be that big of a deal. They allow me this activation, which I'm absolutely going for, unless I'm missing something catastrophical, but don't think I am, right? I mean, they are gonna go here. Oh, they go here, they try to trade. Okay, you try to trade, interesting. Take with the rook. Not sure about this. That's a good move. These people, of course, play decent chess, but I really want to go for the attack. Oh, they are also threatening this bishop. Okay. So perhaps I have to take, which I don't like at all, but I have to do it. And now I have problems here, of course. I don't want to trade, obviously. But at the same time, they may force me, because if I go here, they're going to attack this rook. And how do I keep defense of this guy? I have to go here, they attack me again like this, though. And I'm pretty much done for it, which is very unfortunate. However, there is no threat yet. I just have a terrible position. So what if I push here? Let me try to go for this sorcery here. Oh, I'm losing. I'm losing the game. I'm just losing the game. I'm just losing the game. They just take with the rook. Unbelievable. Maybe I'm not losing the game, but I'm losing the game. It could be savable, perhaps, with insane precision. What? What? That I disagree with. Oh, they want to take with the rook. No, I have to take then. I have to take, and I'm gonna lose one more pawn. But I have some counterplay at least. I don't know, I'm down a pawn. I'm gonna be down 2 pawns. But I have some counterplay. I'm gonna play rook b2. And after rook b2, I don't know how they defend everything. This is threatened. Yeah, but I go rook b2 anyways. Like, why not? Why not, huh? And it may be survivable. Rook f3, I take, and rook b6, a5, the king starts to come close, but should be enough for a draw perhaps. Perhaps, I'm not sure, I may be losing, this is endgame, and I have 22 seconds to play an extremely complex endgame. Easier than that? No? Well, on a5 my move is easy. Okay, here my move is easy at least. Not a big deal. I don't know if this is winnable for white. It probably is. I don't know. It probably is. I mean, it looks like it is. They're gonna go here. I'm gonna go here, 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 here. It's probably just winning. It's not clear how. Well, that easy so far. I'm not sure if that's the right direction for the king, all these things. All these very beautiful things, obviously. I have no idea what I'm doing. Classic. Classic, no idea what I'm doing. Because my idea is to eventually give up this. Yeah, they go like this. My idea is to give up this rook for the pawn. But maybe that's not enough. Maybe that's not enough, actually. So I go here, they go here, I go back. They defend. And I'm losing. I mean, what are we even talking about? Unless I have some crazy moves that saves me. I'm just lost if I do that. Yeah, I think I have to go passive defense mode. But now I realize I blunder, because yeah, this comes with tempo. I thought I could defend. I thought I was in time to defend. This is just losing. This is just losing. Even though if they move forward, I have this check, so maybe it's not completely over. Check here, of course. I say of course, but I have no idea what I'm doing, just to be clear. You know. Okay, here. Okay, I'm just gonna go back at this point. Where it doesn't matter, I'm losing. I'm just completely lost. He goes here, and it's GG's. Yeah, it's over. I lost it. But I'm happy because this was a good game, you know? This is... No, I have to actually sacrifice. This is my opponent playing well. This is not me being down on time. Because there is being down on time, and if I play this, he's gonna check me and save these pawns, so... Yeah, I'm just lost, unfortunately. I may be able to... No, he takes and check and saves his pawn. And I'm not in time to defend my own. But he can also sacrifice. No, it's completely over. I'm just trying to pretend that there is something perhaps one day, but there's literally nothing. It's literally like GG's. Literally just GG's. Just taking here, it's more than enough. I take, you go here, and I have no way to defend the pawn. So after this I have to do this, but then they check me and I resign this other way. Because this defends the pawn. Super easy victory here. Unfortunate. But that was a good game by my opponent. Finally. This time I can say that I got beaten. Not because of time, but actually for chess. Finally, after ages. Believe it or not, I have no problems losing like this. My problem is when I lose because of time. And I'm down on time now, but that's not the reason why I lost this game. Which is great. Okay. Maybe he wants me to resign, but I want to wait at least like 1 or 2 more moves. Just to see like Maybe he gets completely insane and he does something super stupid. I don't know. It can always happen. I'm not gonna resign until you take both of these pawns, you know. Okay, one is down. Now I take, if he plays this move, I resign. They can always mess it up. They can always just mess it up, you know? They can always mess it up. They try to be fancy or something and they just mess it up. It can happen. He checks me again, I go back, he does something stupid. Who knows? Never resign. Of course, there's gonna be a moment where I resign, but I mean, if he takes this pawn, I resign. There are many ways I resign. Okay, now I can resign, but I'm just gonna do that. And then once he pushes, I resign. Okay. All right, GG's. This is a chess loss. This is a good game. I played, he played better, I got outplayed in the middle game and I lost. That I can completely accept this. But when I lose because of time, that's when it really pisses me off. Okay. Which is most of the times, but at least not today. Okay, so yeah, I was fine, I just got outplayed, which is unfortunate, but this is finally, you know, I had to wait, what episode is today? 9. I had to wait 9 games, which is not even that much, to finally find a game from which I should say I can learn. This is gonna be very educational unless the recording software decides to give up on us, which is very likely. So knight e5, knight c3, e6, takes, and d4, knight c6. So I'm gonna do something, guys. I'm gonna do this. So now you cannot see the screen, you can only see the webcam. I'm aware of this, but I need to check on Chessable what the repertoire states, because if I played the moves off the repertoire, then fine, because otherwise still I need to improve on the opening. So let me find the repertoire. Let me go on show all, Solon. Yeah, Chessable is going much slower because of course I have the recording software activated. I know it's a little bit boring for you guys, but give me just a second. I'm about to reactivate it, don't worry, but I want to get in. Okay, so let me reactivate. Here we go. As you can see, I'm in Chessable now. You should be able to see it. I want to go on browse 3 without going into the neat and greedy necessarily, because the browse tree function is very, very useful. I always use it before going into the actual course. And there are 2 tabs open. Unfortunately, this computer is not going to be able to manage it. This analysis is going to get brutalized by the machine here, but okay. So let's flip it. So e4. Okay, I have to actually put it on the board. Okay, e4, c5. My opponent went knight f3, I went knight f6. That would be the Nimzowitsch Sicilian. And here e5, I move knight to c3, and here e6. As you can see, this is exactly what I played. Yes, knight takes, pawn takes. Well, that's not rocket science to take back with a pawn, obviously. And now d4, and here I don't know if I replied properly. Let's see. Knight c6, I did. c3, c takes. Yeah, after c3, I'm not sure I did it right. Oh, I did. C takes. C takes again, and now d6. Oh, and here I play bishop b4, check. Okay. Well, that's actually a big difference. Of course, keeping the bishops, the dark square bishop on the board versus not keeping them, it's a big difference. And after d6, what are the two possibilities? There's bishop d3 mentioned. Okay. That's a big possibility, you know? Keeping the bishops versus not keeping it. It's a big possibility. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna again close for a second this, and I'm gonna go into the course, and I'm gonna actually find the line, the specific line, and we are gonna look at it together. I'm gonna show you a little bit what do I do to try to improve my openings. You know, I usually do it off camera, but since this game I lost, and for once I actually lost like on the board because I got outplayed and not because I'm down on time, we are going to analyze this properly. I'm gonna show you the way I do it, which doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way for you. It may not even be the best way for me, but this is how I'm doing it right now. So let me see. In the game, what happened? E5 was played, and then knight c3. So this is the chapter with e5, and they played knight c3, after which I play e6, and knight takes d5, that's the repertoire, d4, knight c6, d4, knight c6, and here c3 was played by my opponent. So let me find it very quickly. c3, this is the line. I'm about to reopen the screen, guys, don't worry, but I just want to make sure that I'm finding the right line. Okay, so let me reactivate this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna hide my webcam and also the title, so you guys cannot see me, which is a little bit sad perhaps, but I'm here, not going anywhere. Actually, let me reactivate the webcam because, I mean, I use YouTube too. I know that, you know, seeing the person talking in the video is a little bit more enjoyable, much more enjoyable. Okay, so let's go. I can't make this screen different, unfortunately, so that's how small I'm gonna be, but that's fine. So let's go all the way back. So e4, c5, it's a little bit laggish, but it's not on your end, it's on my end. Knight f6 with the pawn, they push. We go into the center, knight c3. I'm not reading all the comments because it's not super necessary. And here we play e6, supporting the knight, preparing to develop the bishop. Okay, they can take, of course, we take back. And from now I'm gonna study this a little bit. Let's pause for a moment to discuss this unusual pawn structure. The pawn duo on d5 and c5 controls a lot of valuable squares in the center, but the pawn on d5 could be weak, since the other d-pawn on d7 blocks the queen from defending it. Okay, so just to help your visualization, the queen from d8 is not defending the pawn from to d5 because there is this guy in between. Given a move or two, we would rectify that situation with d6, exchanging the double pawn and opening the queen's path. So if white wants to argue that d5 is a weakness, they need to play d4 right away. Okay, so they play d4. White wants to attack the pawn on d5 by opening the d file. Okay, that's logical. If white plays c3, for example, we can go knight c6, d4, and this will transpose to d4, knight c6, c3. Okay, so we play knight to c6, continuing with natural development. This is, so far, is the game, by the way. They play c3. Rather than trying to go after the d5 pawn, white simply reinforces the center. Of course, there is another line in this course where it shows you what happens if they take, and we just sacrifice the pawn. And that's the line I remember. This line here specifically, I don't quite remember it. C takes d4. Trading first creates the option of giving a check on the a5, e1 diagonal in some lines. C takes. And here d6, interesting. As usual, we want to challenge white's center and trade off one of our doubled pawns. Okay, so we don't trade the dark square bishop, and that's very interesting. Perhaps trading the dark square bishop was not the brightest idea, but I'm not sure, because in the end I felt like that in the game, of course then I'm gonna analyze the game too, I felt like the position was a little bit too exposed. Even though my king was castled, my pieces were underdeveloped, and it was a little bit difficult. Perhaps even opening up the position wasn't too good. And I'm sure the engine is gonna say 000, but it was difficult to play, and I'm not even sure the engine is gonna say 000, to be honest. But okay, d6. As usual, you want to challenge white center and trade off one of double pawns. So this will be the improvement, right? Now I know it, and now I associate it with a game that I lost. So it's gonna stay in my mind now, forever, hopefully, but probably yeah. Bishop d3. Okay, so here there is, for example, bishop b5. This was a move that I was concerned with, but it's completely crazy because there is check that will win a bishop. So I was concerned about a move that loses. So already this tactical pattern that Solon is mentioning in the course, I completely missed it, which is bad, because part of studying a course is not just to memorizing a bunch of moves. That's not the point. The point is also to learn those patterns, right? So when I was in the game, in my calculation, I should never be concerned about bishop b5. And bishop b5 never comes with white being castled, because bishop b5 means that the bishop just moved from f1. So the king is in the center and the bishop is on b5. You always have this check. Very important. And I completely missed this idea. I remember that in many lines I was concerned about this, which is just ridiculous. And of course they can play bishop d3 and bishop b5, but then they just lose the tempo. So let's see. Bishop d3, let's say. Again, bishop b5 doesn't work. This changes everything, obviously. The fact that bishop b5 doesn't work changes everything, because at this point, what do? Well, let's say they play bishop d3, they develop normally. We take, so opening the position, it's sensible. However, they have a piece on the d file, and our dark square bishop and their dark square bishop is still on the board. This is very, very interesting. D takes e5, bishop b5. We take advantage of this check to get ready to castle. Bishop to d2, bishop takes, queen takes, and here bishop g4, pointing out that the queen no longer defends the knight. Castle, bishop takes f3, giving white double pawns and exposing the king. G takes, castle. The computer calls this equal, but white's double pawns and exposed king look very ugly to me. I'd take black any day of the week. So let's try to understand what the improvement in my game would have been. And of course, let me close this. I'm gonna go back to it later and I'm gonna repeat it, right? And let me make myself okay. And let me show you the title again. Here we are, back with the usual setup. So let's look at the accuracy first. It's not super terrible, but many moves were played in a situation where, again, it doesn't matter anymore. So the difference, what's the difference with that line? Again, not just about move by move, but also like conceptually. So here I took, and here check, check takes, queen takes d6, takes d2, and and here d6 and bishop b5. Again, this time is one of those times that the evaluation is like, is good for black perhaps, but meaning is equal. But there are a couple of differences here. First of all, they got this move bishop to b5, which is in one tempo. All these lines where queen a5 wins the bishop are not present anymore. So they got to pin our knight, which is something that usually doesn't happen. And they got to play it in one move. And yeah, perhaps here bishop to g4 could be a consideration. I don't know. Let me see what the engine is saying. Of course, activating the engine simply kills. So let me do one line and let me do stock fish 16 and very, very small. I don't know what. I'm gonna lower it. Even if it makes the analysis weaker, it doesn't really matter much, but I'm gonna do 2 lines though. That's more important. Yeah, as you can see, bishop g4 here is the best move. So here I just missed many ideas. And as you can see, this hopefully is very instructive for you guys. Studying openings is not just about, again, memorizing a bunch of lines. It's also trying to see the common moves, the common patterns, whether it's strategical or tactical, and the typical moves and ideas. Aside from the fact that I should have played d6 here, okay, which is Solon's recommendation. Again, don't worry too much about those evaluations, because this is not like, it's a strong engine, but it's not optimized at all. I played bishop before, but okay, it's not the end of the world, as you can see. And after bishop here, taking is fine. And also d6 is fine. And after bishop b5, again, this move bishop g4 is very, very annoying. And this is something that if I studied the Solon's course a little bit more deeply, I will know. But that's why I'm doing, and I'm noticing my recording software unfortunately is lagging, so hopefully this analysis is gonna come in. I'm so sad if you guys won't get this analysis, because I think it's very insightful. But anyways, this is why I'm doing this road to 2500, right? Because a game like this is so valuable, so valuable. So I have to remember, sorry if sometimes my webcam changes, because this is, portable computer. Sometimes I move it to kind of see it better, and it just moves the whole scene. So, this line here, e4, c5, knight f3, so they go for the open Sicilian, at least that's what it seems. We kind of surprise them with this move knight f6, and here they push. This is, of course, I don't know if it's the main line, but it could be. Definitely, yeah, main line, so e5 absolute main line. We jump in the center, and now knight c3, something that many people play. I think this is also main line, I think. Yeah, knight c3. Only chess is c4, because of course they get very excited by the idea of kicking your knight around, but it's not that impressive. Knight c3 is the critical move. Of course the masters play knight c3. But as you can see at this level, this guy is at 2300. Well, after this game he is. So, definitely strong player. So knight c3. And okay, in this system here, we just defend the knight. And if they decide to take, which I'm not sure is the main line, it actually is. Even in the Lichess database, okay, so this is main line, definitely the master level. Here they go with d4. Here, what was it? Knight c6, yes. And here c3. So taking is the absolute most critical, and after bishop takes c5, let's actually explore it very briefly. After bishop takes c5, queen takes d5, there is this move d6, which threatens, to just develop everything. So, they may say, I'm gonna take you, threatening to take this bishop. But here there is this move queen b6, that's the idea. And here f2 is hit, and bishop e6 is threatened, and it's a very complex position. The evaluation is plus 0.5, of course, if white plays very precise moves, but also black has to play precisely. That's kind of the trade here. Very difficult position for both players, and there is a lot of game here. There is a grandmaster online, the name escapes me. or maybe he's an international master, but I think he's a grandmaster, a very strong player, that he plays the Nimzowitsch Sicilian. He reaches these lines, and he played this against Ding Liren in a Title Tuesday, I think, and they drew. So it's not, it's not a bad... It's not a terrible opening. Of course, classical chess over the board. If you play against someone ultra prepared, they're going to crush you. If you play 10 games, you're going to have very bad results compared to playing something else that may give you chances to win. So it's an inferior opening, this, but it's not practically on a single game level that terrible at all. There was a line that I didn't like against the Alapin that I discussed in a previous video. But, perfection is something that doesn't exist. So c takes d4, c takes d4, and again here, okay, so we reach this position, right? Here they can take and go for this big main line that we just discussed, or, as my opponent played, they can just play c3 to kind of consolidate. And here we can take. Now... I see that the engine gives knight takes d4, which is pretty funny. This is very, very interesting. Let me see what the Lichess says. Wow, the masters actually take like this. That's interesting. But here again, you see you play d6, and as you can see, this c3 move is not critical, because now the evaluation is again in the realm of equality. Okay, if you look at the engine line, is bishop b5, which hits the knight, bishop d7, e takes, bishop takes, and here the engine is giving knight f3 back, which tells you everything you need to know about this line. The masters, they played this, but after either bishop e7 or queen e7, bishop e7 is a little bit more precise. And 3 games were played in this master database, and as you can see, it's 2 draws and 1 win for black, but definitely, simple dry position that will eventually liquidate. And this is low depth engine, plus 0.2 is probably 0.1 or 0.0 at higher depths. So very, very insightful. And again, this is how you do it. You kind of play around with the engine and you kind of see what the specific moves are. But again, it's not just about the specific moves, you want to also try to understand the ideas. You ideally want to have both, especially, I will say that it's not really useful to remember specific moves in like very sub-lines, second lines of second lines of second lines, but this is like basically a main line in this Nimzowitsch Sicilian, and so these positions that I showed you in those few lines that we just looked at are quite probable that they happened, So in those cases, you can kind of look at a couple of moves, like specific moves, and try to remember them. Of course, understanding the little nuances, the tactical nuances, but still, of course, there is some degree of memorization involved. But mainly should be understanding, which I lacked in this line, and the game showed it to me. So very, very useful that this game happened. c3, that's why I told you that I have no problem losing like this. I don't like when I lose on time, because when I lose on time and I had a good position, I don't see my limits, which I think is something that I already mentioned in a video. I just lose. It's just a bad result, but I don't learn, which of course hurts me. Instead, in this game, I lost, but as you can see, we are learning a lot, so it doesn't really matter. It's actually great. It's not that it's neutral, it's great. So, okay, so we said they go for this d4, trying to exploit this d5, and after knight to c6, if they open this up, they're really trying to exploit d5. Again, remember, there is this pawn in between the queen and the d5 pawn, but they can play calmer. In this approach here, we take it, and again, remember this move d6. And that's it. It's just d6, right? They can never play this because of check. If allowed, we are gonna go bishop to b4. And we'll just figure it out from there. So, okay. d6. In the game, I played bishop b4 check. And after bishop to d2, I took it, and after queen takes d2, I played d6. And after bishop b5, again, it was important to play bishop to b4. Yeah, very important. It puts more pressure here in the center. It threatens to just ruin the pawn structure. And I don't really know what I was afraid of, to be honest. Okay, the game continued castle. Let's see what the problems are here. Now my opponent played h3, a very good move by my opponent, by the way. And this is why it's so important to play against stronger players. Because they show you what you don't understand and your limits. And this is invaluable lesson. Like, I don't know how this guy is rated, but let's say is my rating, okay? I'm gonna know something about chess that he doesn't, and he's gonna know something about chess that I don't. Or maybe he's stronger than me, I don't know. In that case, of course, the things that he knows that I don't know are more than the opposite, right? But okay. And if I was playing against a weaker player, he may just castle, and he just may give me the option to go bishop g4. And maybe these two moves here, they don't work specifically, but it's just an example, okay, to make you understand what I mean. Whereas this guy, at 2300, he played h3. And this kind of paralyzes the black position. Again, if you look at the engine, it's like it's 0-0 anyways, what's the big deal? But again, practically speaking, it's not the simplest position in the world. I tried anyways to go for this idea of taking in the center. But now somehow I have this isolated pawn, and they don't have double pawns like we saw in the variation shown by Nate Solon. So already they kind of have a target. And here, let's see what the engine is giving. Here perhaps queen to b6, going after this guy was more appropriate. After queen b6 I was afraid of queen takes though, which probably is something I should have not concerned myself with. Let's see what happened. Queen b6, that was my only problem, because of course if they take, as the engine is recommending, I'm strengthening my center, which is something that I'm not against, obviously. Yeah. Also, they're giving up their light square bishop, so I can always just play bishop d7, and you may argue that they will have a superior knight to my inferior bishop, but there is a saying in chess, bad bishop defends good pawns. So, yeah, very, very tough to crack for white, and, you know, a position that you can see like, I don't know, take, bishop here, knight here, I'm just random moving, you know, I may start to push. This guy is a protected pass pawn after they take, right? So things would have been much different. But here I was concerned about this, and I'm sure that there are tactics that I'm just ridiculous. Yeah, queen a5 check is winning. By the way, bishop e6 is also winning, everything wins, but queen a5 check? They can't block with the queen. Oh, rook d8 is coming, for example. So if they play knight d2, for example, rook d8, and his GG's why not, like Hikaru likes to say. Okay, and even bishop takes c6, they can't even do that, because in the end they get their bishop too. That's crazy. So they would have to move the king. And now what's the idea? Because it's not so obvious. What's the idea here? If I play a6, they can just take, and if I take, they take back. So I can't really do that. That would be losing, actually. And I think they're threatening to take here. Yeah. Yeah, they're threatening to take. If it's white to move, they win. If you click on this bottom in the top right here, show threat, that's what he's saying. You can't see it somehow, but it says show threat. So it's like it gives the person that just moved the move again. And is the opposite, from -4 to +4. So if it's white to move, they win. So it's not so obvious. But you have this knight b4, which attacks the queen, the bishop is hitted, and is actually difficult to keep defense of this guy. because you cannot go here, which is a crucial square. And so where can you go? You can go here or here. These are the only two moves. Let's start with queen c5, let's say, which also keeps this spin. Now a6 though. And now, of course, there is no tactics. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. A3 doesn't work because you just take it. Look at this. A3 doesn't work. Queen takes b. Oh, you can. Oh, this is even simpler. Beautiful. They have to take, and now after a, this is pinned. I wonder if taking here works. It does. If they take like this falls. If they take like this falls in the end. And you may be there thinking, why are you analyzing all of this? Is never going to happen in your games. This line is done, is one line, is done forever. But the reality is these are all patterns, tactical patterns. The idea that the A file is pinned, the idea that you can give up the pawn to give a check, and then there are all these patterns, right? These are, again, schemes that can repeat in different forms. Not exactly the same, but similar. That's the definition of a pattern. And that's why I'm looking at this. I'm like allowing my brain to just absorb these things. Okay, so queen b6, I was afraid of queen takes d5, but this is really close. So what should I have calculated? Let's do some visualization. Here, queen b6. I'm not gonna even do the arrows. Let's try to do it with our mind. So queen to b6. It's black to move, okay? Let's start. Queen b6, queen takes d5, queen a5 check. If the queen goes back to d2 to stop the check, we win the bishop on b5. Okay, let's go back from this position, the very beginning. Queen b6, queen takes d5, queen a5 check. Knight to d2. Okay, so here we have rook to d8. The rook is defended by the queen is under attack. And in the end, the knight will fall. There is no way for the queen to retreat and defend the knight. And okay, let's start again from this position. So queen b6, queen takes d5, queen a5 check, knight d2, rook to d8, bishop takes c6, and here rook takes d5. And after bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, we are winning. If they castle short, what do? We take their knight too. So this is visualization exercise. Of course, we just saw the line, so it's much, much, much easier. But again, this, check, knight here, rook here, and here bishop here. It's important to take like this, and after they take like this, you take like this. This is something that we didn't see, and this position is actually quite easy to see in your mind if you have some experience. If it's difficult for you, if it was difficult, that's fine. It just takes some time to learn these things. And after this, see, I made a mistake. I thought that I could just take, but here there is actually this skewer. Now, because we are so overwhelmingly up material, it doesn't matter. Because after they play rook a to d1, we can just take it. We can also go back defending the square, but the reality is we can also just take it. Of course, the engine is an inefficient move, but we can also do this, and just do this and we are winning, right? So it doesn't matter. But still is as you can see, not so difficult it's not so easy to visualize, right? Now, this position is crystal clear, and after castle, they are threatening nothing, so you can safely go into this line anyways, because you will decide whether or not to take the knight in this position here. And in this position here, which you will have on the board if this line happens, you will see that taking here runs into this or the other one, but then you can actually go back while defending, and so you can safely go for it. If this option of defending was not possible, you could just see that you can sacrifice the queen and then play bishop e6, or perhaps if the situation was different, you would just play something like bishop e6, let's say, and just call it a day and just bring up a queen for a rook, which is great. So anyways, let's go back. So after they take, again, queen b6, queen takes d5, queen a5, king f1, let's say, and here it's actually complicated. This is difficult. You have to look at knight d4. and you have to realize that the queen is hit, the bishop is hit, there are no weird moves from the bishop because again the queen is hit. Queen to d2 doesn't work because queen takes b5. And so where do they go? Well, they have to play, let's say, queen to c5. Only move you have to notice that queen d3 is not possible because the knight controls it. So queen to c5, let's say, and then a6. And you have to realize that after a3, which is critical because otherwise we just win, you can actually play a takes b5. You can actually play queen takes b5 check, as we saw. But I think it's easier to see that after a takes b5 and queen takes b4, queen takes b4, a takes b4, the rook hangs in the end. But as you can see, this is not easy. This is why we make mistake, guys. I mean, from here, as you can see, it's not that easy to see these, and these. You have to look at all these moves until this position from here. It's not so easy, huh? It's not so easy at all, and that's why there is a big difference between playing rapid here or blitz or bullet and over the board where you have 90 minutes and you can really stay there for 15 minutes to calculate literally everything. It's not easy to do this fast, but okay, very, very interesting. And on queen b6, the only line that is left to check is queen b6, queen takes d5, queen a5, king f8, knight b4, and queen to c4. This is a line that we are missing. Is not super simple, but I guess bishop e6 runs into bishop c4, even though we take it, they take it, and then after rook to c8 they have problems. But queen a, I wanted to have it clearer, so queen b6, queen takes d5, queen a5 check, king f1, knight b4, queen c4. What about a6 here? If they play a3, we transpose. We just transpose. Yeah, because I play queen takes b5. They have to play queen takes b5, a takes b5, they take, and then the rook hangs. So let's start again from this position. Queen b6, queen takes, queen a5, king f8, king f1, sorry. Knight b4, queen to c4, a6. a3 doesn't work, so what are they gonna do? Well, their queen is actually in the way of everything. Oh, I think this is it. There is bishop a4, queen takes a4, a3 again. But here we have a super nasty move, which is queen a6. And, oh, but then they play queen, oh no, they can't because it's pinned. Yeah, queen a6. Let me make sure. So from this position, let's go. Queen b6, queen takes d5, queen a5 check, king f1, knight b4, queen to c4, a6, bishop to a4. There is also b5, I'm just realizing, but oh no, a6, bishop a4, bishop, queen takes a4. After a3, queen a6 is not a move. Ah, look at that. Queen a6 is not a move. Interesting. But we can play a5. We can play a5. Oh, we can play a5. And then after rook to e1, let's say, b5. And we are good. I'm not sure about this, it's very difficult to see. There's probably better moves, and I'm just winning in other ways, but I want to see this line. Long video, I'm afraid that the recording software just dies, but what are you gonna do? I have to do this analysis anyways. So this is what I've been calculating. Check, king here, and now this move, queen c4, A6, I'm noticing that this is a correct approach. And here they have no squares. This is something I noticed. So what I calculate is bishop a4, well, king g1 or knight to g5. I'll be very, very honest, is not moves that I even consider. But I calculated bishop a4. And here I calculated queen takes a4, and now I calculated a3. And here I thought that queen a6 was a brilliant move because they cannot take because it's pinned, and if they take, I win their queen, and if they take me, I go back with the knight. But I don't have a6, which is something that I realize once I look at it again. I haven't seen at all the move queen b5, which is just genius, because again, they cannot take. If they take, they lose the queen, and after they take my queen, I take while opening up the file. Again, this idea, crazy, beautiful move. But what I saw was actually a5, which is not that good, because of b3, which I completely missed. I completely missed it, and after I go back, they can actually just take it. Okay, so there is b3. So if this line that I saw is wrong, what I saw was something like rook e1, but now I thought I have b5, which maybe I don't, but I thought I did. And I don't because of queen e4, which attacks here. Yeah, so as you can see, it's not that easy. Okay, I completely missed that. So queen c4 loses because of, yes, a6, but after bishop a4, you can interpose a good bishop e6, I guess, but staying on this line, queen takes, a3, there is, yeah, this queen b5 move. Only queen b5. Only queen b5. Only queen b5 does the job. Now, thankfully, I'm not in the phase of my chess life, chess career, where I study visualization and tactics and all these things. So, let's move on. That was just something that I did for fun, believe it or not. I played queen e7, which is already going in the wrong direction, by the way. Even though now the engine says it's best. So the engine doesn't know what he's talking about. That's the problem in nerfing the engine. It loses it. So okay, queen e7 playable. Castles. Knight takes e5 fine. Queen takes d5. Knight takes f3 fine. Again, it's not necessarily fine. It's just this engine is like, okay. Queen takes f3. And here I should have played bishop to e6. Why in the world I didn't play bishop e6? Sorry. What? Why didn't I do that? I wanted to play bishop e6, was my concern. I don't know. Why didn't I play bishop e6? Maybe I was afraid of this, and in my genius mind, this bishop was on c4, but no, it's not on c4 yet. And if they play it now, I just take it because there is no rook yet. So I'm in time to do everything. And this is defended, which I noticed. I never mentioned this in the game, but I noticed that this was defended. Well, if I ever said something about this, I was talking about pressure, but I noticed that it was defended. Well, why? Why would I do this? What's wrong with me? Rook here, let's say. Yeah, and queen b4. And again, here perhaps I was afraid they take, but of course this is ridiculous. I just win the game on the spot. GG's. Bishop e6, the most natural move in the position. Why didn't I play this? What? What's wrong with me? I guess that I was afraid that they pin me and they go here, but I should have just calculated. How much time did I have? I have a bunch of time, 3 minutes 40. It's not the simplest position, but come on, man, bishop e6 is the most simple move in the position. What's the problem? Unreal. I was afraid of bishop c4, but there is no bishop c4 now. And again, after rook e1, I should have thought about, okay, find a move. Of course, the most logical move is queen b4 because it attacks these two guys, which is a move that I consider in other lines. And I'm like, okay, if they take, I just do this and I win. Well, this is fascinating. Why didn't I play bishop e6? Nobody knows. But I didn't. a4, and now this gives this tempo. And now I think that we can say that we are going in the wrong direction. So it's all about tempi here. Yeah, bishop e6 was crucial. But bishop e6 is not even a complex move. My opponent wants to do three things. Keep this rook disconnected, so the bishop is the issue. They want to attack me like this, and they want to, you know, prevent me from playing bishop e6. So they want to go rook here, bishop here, and this guy stays disconnected. You can prevent all of this with bishop e6. It's not like rocket science. It's actually quite a banal move. But yeah, I think that my brain, for some reason, thought that these two moves were both here. Meaning now my opponent can play bishop c4 and I'm pinned, or they can play rook d1 and they're gonna take next. But I have one more move. What am I talking about? But yeah, bishop e6 was a very important move. Queen b4 can also be played immediately, which is also very logical, but you know, you're delaying development and all these things. Bishop e6 is just so natural. a6 again just allows bishop c4, bishop to e6 still, and after queen c5, I admit after queen c5 I completely missed this move bishop to d5. And even here I should have just admitted that it wasn't that great and just play something like rook b8. But I tried this idea and now it's really tragic. Now it starts to be really tragic. Queen b6, I managed to find queen b6. Queen d6 is the other move. I think queen b4 is just terrible. Yeah, rook c7, exactly. So at least I managed to see that. So queen b6, b3, and again rook b8 I should play, and this is already not that good. B takes. And why not rook takes here? There was a problem here. Oh yeah, they take here. Yeah. I thought they could take with the bishop and win. Turns out they can take with the queen and win. GG's. Okay. But yeah, I sensed that there was a problem there. So I played bishop e6, which I finally played. It now is best move, but does it matter? No, because I'm lost already. And again, playing those strong players is super crucial. My opponent didn't play a random move. He played the best move, most precise bishop b3. If I take, they get the 2 against 1 winning. Can't take here because this is defended. And at the same time, they keep the threats alive. Bishop b3, very classy move. I definitely had a worst play with my bishops. My opponent outplayed me with... he played better with this bishop. First here, I should have just went bishop e6, no worries, and activate my queen. I missed that for a bunch of time. And here I missed this great move bishop d5, which again is a very simple move. The fact that I missed it is just wow. a5, rook here, okay, this is normal move. I managed to see the rook moving, so I don't have that big of a blind spot for rooks, but I have it for bishops. Interesting. b3, a4. I'm actually not too concerned about a4. I mean, a4 is a move that it's not like catastrophical. The engine really doesn't like it. Because again, there are crazy tactics, but it's not, in my opinion, humanly speaking, it's not the worst thing ever. And bishop b3 also, I missed it completely. Great move. Rook a5, I tried to go for this activity, but now it's quite over. Yeah, queen takes c3 is best, because if I don't do it, they can always take, you know. So I took, and here bishop d7. Oh, bishop d7. Why didn't I play bishop d7 here? Interesting. My idea initially was to go bishop d5, but now, yeah, g4, I saw this, and I can't keep this guy protected. And after I go here, there is f4, yeah, and the rook is, and the bishop is done. And this, I started to be low on time at this point, but again, this is not the reason why I lost, let's be real. This time it was really bad. I should have played bishop d7, for example, to kind of put pressure on their weaknesses, maybe these to follow. And of course, there is no queen here anymore, so the pressure is not the same. Rook d1, bishop c6 though, I finally can consolidate. Oh, which is what I wanted to do. That's why I wanted to go here, by the way. I could have just done it in like this. Unbelievable that I missed that. But okay, we can say that this is due to some time constraint, but still. Again, bad movement with the bishop. I'm not playing well with this piece. So rook d1, of course, rook d4. Okay, engine moves here. And yeah, it's not terrible, it's not terrible. Instead I played b5, but now, again, I saw rook takes e6, and this is just terrible, but, oh, b takes, intermediate move. Of course, the idea is that if I take here, there is check, I move, and they can just take, and I thought a5 actually, but maybe a5 is just craziness by my side. It also wins, but yeah, a takes b5, rook takes, a4, and it's completely winning for white. But okay, a takes b5, and here I have to take, unfortunately. If I take like this, he's gonna take with the rook, and now he has a 2-on-0, which is winning. So I have to take with the rook, and he, of course, can take here. At least I have some counterplay. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Here I really should have gone rook a8 to try to keep things alive. I thought that I could perform some miracles, but it was just in my head. Here I should have gone king e7 for some engine reasons. Instead I went king f6, and it's over. It's completely over. I don't know what I tried to do here in this endgame, but it was completely over. And yeah, that's the game. But very, very instructive, super happy for this game. I actually would like to do another, but it's already been more than an hour, so I'm not gonna do it. And I'm not even gonna do it off camera. Of course, every game I played here rapid, I show it. What to say, extremely, extremely instructive. I'm also gonna watch independently, outside of the video, some after c3 I'm gonna watch takes. I'm gonna watch that main line again to just refresh my memory. But that's gonna be it. Hopefully you enjoyed this analysis. Hopefully you are here watching, meaning the video wasn't corrupted at half or something. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your chess.